Well, first of all, Chris, it's great to be here. And as you might guess, things are busy. Things are always busy in college athletics, but when you make a move, it's a different kind of week. It's not a typical week. You spend a lot of time meeting people, first of all, and getting out. But then there's the regular business of the day, meetings and conference calls and all of that. So it's everything I'd hoped for and a little bit more, which is good. That's a good thing. But I wanted to change. I wanted some new challenges. And now that I'm kind of sinking my teeth into those challenges, it's exciting. It's stimulating. I know we've got a lot of hard work ahead of us, which is great. That's the professional challenge I wanted. So I think things are going fine. Kind of climbing up that learning curve. Every state and every university does business processes differently. So I'm kind of learning that. That's just kind of the process, but then you got to dig your teeth into the product and the things we're trying to accomplish. So I'd say for week 2, things are going very well. When I was hired, you could kind of look at it as a lateral move kind of thing if you want, kind of Division II athletic director to another Division II situation. But there's a lot of uniquenesses of this program that I think make it different and really a different environment professionally. And that's the Division I hockey. But then what we do is swimming and rifle and Nordic skiing, and half of our program is outside the GNAC. We have 5 sports outside, as you know, and 5 sports in the GNAC. So it really is a different type program. It's going to be actually quite fun competing against MSUB. It's going to be enjoyable. They're colleagues, but we have colleagues around the country. We have colleagues that, several of us do that we've worked with, and they go on to different universities, and people kind of move on and stuff. So. But everyone at MSUB in the athletic department, I think 42 full-time employees, I hired everyone. But some of them will move on and take different jobs, but some of them will stay and come here to Alaska to compete, and it'll be fun. We always have to remember what it's all about, and that's providing that quality experience for the NCAA student athlete. And regardless of who we're playing, we'll provide that great experience. So it's going to be a fun challenge. It'll be fine. I mean, I'm going to be rooting for us. I want to win every game. It doesn't matter who the opponent is, but I'm going to be rooting for the Alaska Nanooks all the time. And whether it happens to be a Yellow Jacket team or a Seawolf team or you name it, anyone inside or outside the GNAC or the CCHA or any of those other conferences we're in, we're going to support our student athletes and we're going to cheer them on. You bet. I'm really excited about hockey. And maybe it's partly because that blue-gold scrimmage we had was a lot of fun. But the other reason, I think the real reason, is I see the excitement in this community about hockey. And I know, and I say that with all due respect to basketball and volleyball and and running and skiing and swimming and rifle. But I just can't tell you the number of people I've met in the community where they tell me how they've been longtime supporters of hockey. And so that's exciting, partly because it's new to me, but partly because I can see the energy in this community. And the excitement and support for hockey is even bigger than I might have predicted. So right out of the chute, that's kind of my initial excitement sport-wise. But as I said, we're going to support every sport, and I'm going to be at every event, whether it's a swim meet or cross-country race or Nordic ski race or any of those other events, and I'm going to be cheering for every sport just as loud. But the first thing that's kind of grabbed me is the timeliness of hockey kicking off right now. And I like talking about growth because when you do add a sport, you provide new opportunities for student athletes that do not currently exist. And it's fun to think then, they come and 4 years down the road they graduate, but then 10 years down the road and 20 years down the road they look back on that experience. So you're creating an experience for a student athlete that doesn't exist on this campus. They might go to another university, et cetera. But there are always some concerns about growth. Obviously you have to pay for it. Like you mentioned or alluded to, the program at MSUB quadrupled, but the budget quadrupled too. There's support over time. Coach's concern, current coach's concern is always, if we add a sport, will that take away from mine financially? So when you grow the program, you have to grow the financial base and support for that so that you don't hurt the existing sports. We will do some feasibility studies. I don't know how many, 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever, but we'll do some feasibility studies. I've already had people approach me about the potential growth of the department. Now, these are people who, of course, are involved locally or regionally in a certain sport, and they think it'll be a good fit and all of that. But part of the feasibility study is a huge part, obviously, is paying for it, and that includes, you know, what's your schedule, who do you play, who do you compete against, you know, in other words, what's the travel, and those types of things. But feasibility studies will not just be done by themselves, they'll be done as part of our strategic plan. And so we'll always be looking at our current and future budget development as we look at the possibility or the potential for additional sports. As you know, 10 is the NCAA Division II minimum. So, you know, we're at that minimum, but, you know, we're supporting our 10 sports right now quite well. And but we don't want to hurt them if we were to add sports. So it'll be something that's discussed at the right time and in the right framework and in the right context as part of strategic planning. So I don't want people to be nervous that, oh my gosh, you know, we're going to grow and the support won't be there. We would only grow, and that business plan, that financial plan is such an important part of the feasibility study. But, you know, there is that possibility in the future, and that's why you study. That's why you look at things and ask all the questions and get the numbers you need before you make those decisions, or before you even make a proposal, a formal proposal to add something. I think that'll be part of the change, part of the exciting things to come. But, you know, certainly coming from the last several years of Montana, where there is winter, you know, and some 20 below, but not a lot, and not for long periods of time. But we'll experience that. You know, I'll throw on another coat, I guess, and maybe not spend as much time outdoors as I might like to. But you know, people tell me that it's not windy here, and so that's good. Billings is a windy location, so it might be 10 below and a 30-mile-an-hour wind, which is pretty cold. And you factor in that wind chill, but you know, got to get the truck winterized, and you know, we'll deal with that. I'm kind of looking forward to it, you know, as part of the experience. And I know that probably sounds like a dumb thing to say, and I might tire of it after a couple days. But other people tell me that you know, another challenge is the dark. You know, in concert with the cold. You know, the short days of daylight. So I'm sure we'll have to experience that to fully kind of internalize it. It's kind of like driving the Alaska Highway, you know, 2,700-mile drive to get here, 1,200 to get to the Alaska Highway, then another 1,500 to get to the end of it right here in Fairbanks. But I'm glad we drove. You know, you fly into a place, I don't think you kind of get the same sense of arrival than kind of day by day, 500 miles, 1,000, 2,000, you know, et cetera. So you really kind of get that 4 or 5 day time period to process moving. And so that was good. I mean, I'm glad that drive's over, but I'm glad I did it at the same time. So yeah, I guess the last thing I'd answer about your question of winter is I think it'll really make me appreciate summer in a whole new way. I'm extremely excited. In case you can't tell, I am very excited, and I think I bring something to the table in terms of my past and leadership and things. I'm really, really excited. I can't tell you the number of people who have said this program has so much potential. They've had great accomplishments too. I mean, there's national championships and medalists, Olympic medalists and things. So, but there's so much more potential, I guess I would say, you know, and as we inducted a whole new class of Hall of Famers, you get the sense of history and tradition in this program that I'm trying to learn as quickly as I can, but I'm very, very excited of helping in any way I can. We will spend a lot of time in the budget planning process and the strategic planning process, and those tie together very, very closely. I'll do everything I can to support the coaches and their programs and their recruiting and everything they do to provide that quality NCAA experience to student athletes. So yeah, I'm extremely excited. This is very stimulating, and you know, it's an exciting, college athletics is excitement. There's a lot of fun, there's a lot of work, there's a lot of business, and sponsorships and all those things that go into it. But it's an exciting, stimulating environment. So I couldn't be more excited, I think. I hope you'll take the time and energy to support Nanook Athletics as well. And there's so many things you can do to get involved. You can volunteer, you can be a booster, you can contribute to a variety of scholarship funds and endowments that support the program. But just let us know, contact us, and we'll get back to you and try to involve you in any way we can. But we'd love to have your support. We'd love to have your involvement. And just send us an email, click on the website, or pick up the phone and give us a call, and we'll tell you how you can get very, very much involved in Nanook Athletics.